What's going on? I'm not gonna bring my usual intro in because it's just wasting my data. But I do have one of those cleaning out my screenshots videos for you. Just a bunch of random screenshots. Some of them are related to one another, and nothing's in order of time or anything like that. So let's get started. See what I found and why is it interesting. Alright, from Channel 9 News in Denver, a Patriot rally was set for 2 p.m. The participants planned to meet earlier Saturday at several locations around the Denver metro area and drive to the park next to the state capitol. A counter-protest BLM Antifa soup drive was planned to start at 1:30 p.m. at Civic Center to drown out the rally. The Denver Police Department said they would not provide specifics on how they were responding to the event and released the following statement. On Twitter, Teagan said the rally was intended to fight back, push back, time to take our country back. The Denver Communists, one of the organizations sponsoring the soup drive, posted Friday on Facebook, "We feel it is our responsibility to vocally oppose fascists every time they try to assemble, and we hope you feel the same way. And what are our options? To cede our streets to them?" Well, the Denver Police Department said, respects the right to peacefully assemble. Those who participate in protests, demonstrations, marches, or other gatherings, as protected by the First Amendment, are reminded to do so in a lawful manner. Individuals who choose to act outside of local, state, and federal law will be subject to citation or arrest. On Friday, the organizer of the Patriot Day rally, John Teagan, did an interview on the Stephen Tubbs show on KNUS, during which he said, "I'm not going there to do violence, but I'm going to be prepared to do violence." Does that mean in defense? I don't know. But the update, because this is where somebody got shot, the incident occurred beneath a police surveillance camera, and police confirmed they have footage of what happened. Because some security guard guy protecting the 9 News people, and apparently I've heard he doesn't even have his security guard license there in Denver working, so you get a lot of trouble. You can't just shoot people. DPS said that a little before 3:50 p.m. there was some sort of verbal altercation just as protesters were leaving the area. Someone sprayed pepper spray, and DPD said that is when at least one shot was fired. DPD reported the victim was being transported to the hospital at 3:49 p.m. and said the victim died an hour later. That victim has not been identified. He has since then. Yeah, I don't really remember the guy's name, but he made cowboy hats, was a Navy veteran, and he was just there, and guy shot him when he released pepper spray because they kept approaching him. I mean, think about it. These patriot people applied so they could do their little protest, and so Antifa and BLM communists, they call themselves communists because they are, decides that they're going to show up at a protest a half hour earlier than the Patriot protest. That way they could have good spots and really cause a lot of grief. I think that everybody belongs in the streets, and they have no right at all to try to drown out others, no matter what their viewpoints are. Communists. I mean, really, if that's not a fascist move by the communists, then there is no fascism, because the only fascism I see is coming from that side where they're trying to drown people out. They don't want anyone else to be heard, no matter what. Communism is dangerous, and that's why communists always fled to our country. Here's a story from my man Avi. He says, spot the difference. Putin locked himself in isolation for months on end without coronavirus. Trump catches the virus and tells the world not let it dominate your lives. Not many presidents can say they made Russia look like pussies. And ain't that the truth? You know, now maybe one-on-one, Putin might have Trump in a fight. Now this one's interesting, and I've already had issues trying to record talking about this story, so I have to do it right. A boy um, was born in 1991 to parents who moved to Milan. He's buried in the tomb of Assisi. While he is the youngest person to be beatified in the modern era, he will not be the youngest saint if he receives the title. In 2019, Pope Francis canonized Francisco and Jacinto Marto, two Portuguese children ages 10 and 9, who died during the 1918 influenza pandemic and were said to have seen the Virgin Mary while caring for sheep. I remember that story about it. And this is probably true. He's probably going to be a saint of the internet. Alright, now these statistics are from England and Wales, but we're going to find out that it's pretty similar across the board in every nation. That the average age of death from this pandemic is 82.4 over there, and I think their life expectation is 81. So I really can't understand why these lockdowns are continuing to go on, especially like as hardcore as they're coming in Australia and in England and Wales. And here I've got more stuff to show, and these might be closer to home statistics. But first, we got some John Brennan stuff, the former director of the CIA. In April 2014, Brennan visited Kyiv, where he met with Ukrainian Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk and First Deputy Prime Minister Vitaly Yanima, and purportedly discussed intelligence sharing between the United States and Ukraine. In the summer of 2014, Brennan faced scrutiny after it was revealed that some CIA employees had improperly accessed the computer servers of the Senate Intelligence Committee in the wake of oversight of the CIA's role in enhanced interrogation and extraordinary rendition. Brennan apologized to senators and stated that he would fight for change at the CIA, and slated he would pass along the findings of the Inspector General on the incident. After the incident, Senator Mark Udall, Democrat of Colorado, stated he had lost confidence in Brennan. Isn't that scary? The CIA isn't even supposed to spy on citizens, and they're spying on the Senate. Brennan's history should enlighten us. He attended Fordham University, graduating with a bachelor's in political science in 1977. While a college student in 1976, when I was born, he voted for the Communist Party USA candidate for president, Gus Hall. He has later described his vote as a way of signaling my unhappiness with the system, specifically the partisanship of the Watergate era. After Fordham, Brennan attended the University of Texas at Austin, receiving a Master of Arts in Government with a concentration in Middle East Studies in 1980. He speaks Arabic fluently. His studies included a junior year abroad, learning Arabic and taking courses at the American University in Cairo. While riding a bus to class at Fordham, he saw an ad in the New York Times that said that the CIA was recruiting. He decided that a CIA career would be a good match for his wanderlust and his desire for public service. He applied to the CIA in 1980. A communist. I bet President Trump never voted for a communist, but yet this guy wants to call President Trump despicable, ignorant fool. Well, in John Brennan's own words, he is a hot-tempered, working-class Irish Catholic kid from New Jersey. He never runs short of vitriol, and while Trump is the main target, there are many more. Brennan also takes swipes at his successor as CIA chief, Mike Pompeo, whom he describes as putting loyalty to Donald Trump above commitment to country. And I believe Pompeo is now the head of state where Hillary Clinton was. And that's why we're getting a little bit more dirt out on Hillary Clinton, because people that are not loyal to the Democrats are coming to the table. There are personal revelations. Before joining the CIA, he wore a diamond earring, smoked his share of hashish in Cairo, and voted for the Communist Party candidate for president, Gus Hall, in 1976. He fancied himself a character out of Easy Rider like Jack Nicholson, Peter Fonda, Dennis Hopper, and rode his Yamaha motorcycle to work in his early days at the agency. That's all good stuff, yet something important is missing here. The big picture. Oh, let's see. In October 2015, the contents of Brennan's personal email account were stolen by a hack and posted on WikiLeaks. The emails did not contain classified information, but did include sensitive personal information, including a draft of Brennan's standard form something application during a subsequent security conference at George Washington University. Brennan proclaimed his outrage at the hack, but also demonstrated the need to evolve to deal with these new threats and challenges. In January 2017, a North Carolina college student pleaded guilty in a Virginia federal court to charges related to hacking Brennan's email. So yeah, I bet that kid got a job at the CIA. But it's just amazing that Brennan, the CIA director, all inspired man, got hacked himself, but he's going to criticize everyone else. Ain't no wonder like nobody got in trouble for Hillary's leaks and Hillary's personal email account she's using for government business. Obviously, Johnny B likes to ignore some things. He called out the lone wolf attackers, calling him an exceptionally challenging issue for the intelligence community. Brennan detailed ISIL's size to the committee, specifying they had more fighters than Al-Qaeda at its height and that they were spread between Africa and Southwest Asia. In September 2016, the Congress passed the Justice Against Sponsors of Terrorism Act that would allow relatives of victims of the September 11 attacks to sue Saudi Arabia for its government's alleged role in the attacks. Congress overwhelmingly rejected President Barack Obama's veto of the bill. Brennan warned of JASTA bill's grave implications for the national security of the United States. While director, Brennan created 10 new mission centers in his campaign to focus on the CIA threats in cyberspace, where analysts and hackers work in teams with focuses. But like going back to this JASTA bill, wow, he said it's grave danger if we pass that, because then our allies won't pay the money. Maybe they'll stop paying money if they got paid more money to do terrorist acts. I don't know. Brennan's weird. He likes to blame Trump and Russia for everything, but it was a British security hacker, Kane Gamble, sentenced to 2 years in youth detention, posed as CIA chief to access highly sensitive information and hacked into Brennan's private email and iCloud accounts, made hoax calls to his family home, and even took control of his wife's iPad. The judge said Gamble engaged in politically motivated cyber terrorism. Less than a week before Brennan left office in January 2017, he expressed several criticisms of incoming President Trump. Brennan said, "I don't think he has a full appreciation of Russian capabilities, Russia's intentions and actions that they are undertaking in many parts of the world." Brennan stated that it was outrageous that Trump was equating the intelligence community with Nazi Germany. I don't know, man. I don't know too many patriots that would spy on the Senate to find out what they're going to do to my department. So, Brennan, I think you should have been in jail a long time ago. And I don't know why people go to jail and prison for drugs anymore. I don't know why. You're a criminal. Okay. Now, you can tell what party really gets along with China, because they use the same terminology. Beijing fears Trump and his cronies could trigger a conflict with China before U.S. elections. First off, cronies, that's what the Chinese say, and Democrats. And it's President Trump, not just Trump. So get it right, you fools. Yeah, I do want to say, God bless this girl, Breonna Taylor. I know she got to be in heaven because she was murdered. Like police just shooting anybody any day because they call it a war on drugs. No, it's a war on people when you're shooting random people. It's sickening, but that's not why I even have this up here. I'm shocked by what was said on here. I guess Cameron is the DA or Attorney General out there in Kentucky or whatever. And This is what Megan Thee Stallion said. Daniel Cameron is no different than the sellout Negroes that sold our people into slavery, Mallory had said during a portion of her speech, which Megan Thee Stallion incorporated into her Saturday Night Live performance. Wow. Now that's like some tough criticism. Maybe Cameron has to reflect upon himself. And of course we have CNN. Who's this guy? Analysis by Nick Patton Welsh. There is no getting back to normal, experts say. The sooner we accept that, the better. And there is no getting back to normal, huh? Yeah, that was their plan all along. I don't know even what to comment about that, because they're all about this new normal. What's the new normal? We accept communisms in our life? Like, we allow them to act like fascists and say that they're the anti-fascists? No, we can't accept that. They can go preach and pray all they want, but they can't be out there destroying our society. There is going to be a normal again, and it's not new. Well, here's something interesting. Melting Antarctic ice exposes 800-year-old penguins that still look fresh. It kind of tells me 800 years ago, the ice wasn't as thick as it is today, so then there was a mini ice age, and then the penguins got snowed on and froze over, and now here it is, back like the cycle does it. Ice melts, ice refreezes, the salinity of the oceans change, and then they go back. But I don't know, I'm just saying, it's just one big cycle, and people were making a big deal out of human things. Yeah, pollution is bad. Stop polluting. But this other stuff, man-made climate change is ridiculous. I mean, if we want to really think about it, maybe them sending them rocket ships into the sky is altering everything, because nobody knew anything about it, all of that, until they started sending rocket ships into the sky. Who knows what they're doing to the upper atmosphere? We have no idea what kind of tests they're running. But anyways, there are sick people out there, and they have Trump derangement syndrome, and they listen to communism and what is this? This is some propaganda from China, probably. However, in a bid to gain more momentum before a face-off with Joe Biden, the Trump administration is planning to shake things up in the South China Sea by preparing to deploy the lethal MQ-9 Reaper drone in the region, a move that has infuriated China. Earlier, military experts in Beijing had stated that in view of the forthcoming U.S. elections where Donald Trump appears to be trailing, it's probable that Trump and his cronies would take the fatal step and provoke an armed conflict with China in the South China Sea before November this year. Well, if that's not propaganda, I don't know what is. What sick people out there. Trump derangement syndrome is real. Alright, more COVID. The average age of people who died from COVID-19 in England and Wales since the pandemic began in is 82.4, the Daily Mail can reveal. That figure, computed from Office of National Statistics data by experts at Oxford University, is significantly higher than the average age reached by people recorded as dying from all other causes, which is 81.5. So your life expectancy there is 81.5, and the average people dying is 82.4. And why are we still doing lockdowns in Britain or the United States or anywhere else? Wait till you hear some more. The study by Oxford Center for Evidence-Based Medicine also suggests that fewer than 6 people per 1,000 who get coronavirus now are likely to die from it. So we're forced to be locked down because of what? It is evident from Figure 1 that COVID-19 mortality risk is many times higher for the old than the young, and indeed the vast majority of COVID-19 deaths are of older people, but the same is true for all-cause mortality. The vast majority of deaths are of the elderly. About 70% of all U.S. COVID-19 deaths are to age 70 years or above, somewhat above the 64% for normal mortality. In fact, the age distribution of deaths attributed to COVID-19 is quite similar to that of all causes of mortality, which tends to increase by about 10% every year of age after age 30. Figure 1b shows that in South Korea, Italy, France, Germany, England, and Wales, and Spain, virus-attributed mortality rates rise by about 12% a year, while the United States and Wuhan, China show a slower rate of increase, about 9.5% year per age of age. At ages 40 years, COVID-19 mortality risk is low, but so is mortality from other ways of dying. Really, what does all this mean? Well, let's get what their opinion of what it means is, and then I'll tell you what my opinion of what it means is. What would a hypothetical 1 million U.S. deaths in the COVID-19 epidemic mean for mortality of individuals at the population level? Life expectancy for 2020 would drop by 2.9 years. Those dying would lose an average of 11.7 years of expected remaining life, while for the general population, the loss of remaining life would be a 0.2 years for elders at age 80 and much less at younger ages. Mortality per person would be less than that of the Spanish flu, but close to that of the opioid and HIV/AIDS epidemics, while far more concentrated in time. The standard valuation of averting 1.75 million deaths would be many trillions of dollars. So you see that it costs money to avert deaths, and the truth is they haven't stopped anything. People are going to die from this stuff. The people that are dying from the Wuhan are close to their life expectancy age anyways. I'm not saying we shouldn't protect the elderly, but the elderly need to protect themselves, and we had governors putting sick people in old people homes. That's where all these deaths came from. President Trump has nothing to do with it. He did everything right by keeping this out of our country until, it was all these wealthy people that fly around the world. Guess who got sick first? All the wealthy people. The wealthy people spread it. Sports stars, movie stars. Tom Hanks, he's guilty, not President Donald Trump. Trump got it because Tom Hanks probably brought it to the States. I'm just saying, you need to look at the perspective of it, and all those people are liars, lying.